And then after that, I'll take.
Let me see. Are we live? Yes. No, not yet. Not yet. I thought I'm live. But here showing live already and asking me to end broadcast or
Yes.
not.
Yeah, we are live.
We are live?
I can see that little corner there, top button.
Yeah, we're live, right? But I don't see on my... Okay, it's live now. Yes, we are live.
Right.
Yeah, okay, we are live on my Facebook profile.
Awesome.
Then go to profile. My profile to check it out. Check it out.
I'm refreshing on your Facebook to find the live.
Then I'm gonna be sharing on mine, and I'm gonna tag Farehan. Farehan can share on his.
Okay.
Are your kids asleep, Farehan?
No, they are happily outside.
I feel it's very quiet in the other room, so I'm not sure what's happening. I'm just gonna seek divine intervention and just let them be. I believe they are all safe in God's hands.
Mine is enjoying the game time.
Oh
it's
my
their me
God.
time now. Hello, everybody. We're live now.
Cool.
Somebody in? Let me check. Dihan, I will have to refresh on yours, right?
But I'm refreshing on Boys to get her live. It's not there yet.
It's not there?
Is it on yours? It's not there.
Yeah, it is on mine though. I can see on my own Facebook profile.
Could you share it? Could you click on your Facebook profile and share it to me?
I'm on my Facebook profile, but there's no share. How come there's a lock? How come there's a lock? How do I make it? Oh, now it's public.
Yes.
It went to only me just now.
Okay.
Finally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Now I'm gonna refresh on Dihan's.
Yep. You can refresh now.
Yay! Hello, everybody. Now we are really live, where everybody get to see.
Okay,
Nice.
cool.
Very share.
I'm gonna share and I'm gonna tag you. Okay.
Okay.
Can share?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Share it. And I've
Yay!
Nice. Okay.
Cool.
I'm so sorry, guys, for the glitch, but we managed to bounce back.
Okay, Farehan, I'm ready.
Okay, one moment, I'm sharing.
We are still figuring out how to share. Hey, viewers, I see one viewer. So hi, now 3 viewers. Hi to the 3 viewers. Welcome to our chit chat session on a Wednesday night.
3 girls and a guy.
Do you see my question?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody needs to make it appear on the screen like magic.
How?
Okay, well, before that, maybe I would like to do the honors to invite and introduce Farehan. Farehan, welcome to our Wednesday night live. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Thank you, ladies, to this Wednesday night live. Usually, I know Wednesday is always the ladies' night, right? Where you all go to club. Okay, it's a new thing now. You know, the ladies' night is happening at Zoom, and I'm happy to be invited into this ladies' night talk. But in a more appropriate manner, in terms that I think we are talking about something about parenting. You know, I understand. I think Dihan and Bukwa and Noretta, you guys are expertise in this area. Like for me, as a father to 4 beautiful kids, my first is a boy. He's primary 2, 8 years old. Second one, the most mischievous, 6 years old, is a boy. The third one is my lovely Devi princess. She's 2 years 5 months. She gets away with everything. Everything she gets away with everything. If you're talking about when I tell them they do the opposite behavior, when she do the opposite, I can't react anything. I will just look at her and just say that okay, hopefully this is the last one. Don't repeat it again. That kind of thing. And of course my fourth one is she's only 4 months. She's a girl also. She's always smiling, always looking at me. I think she's just waiting like, look, when is my time, to play, to be active and stuff all. So that's me. I'm how old am I this year? I'm going to be 38. God willing, I'm going to be 38 this year. My wife, she's a school teacher, so she has a lot of patience. But usually it's me who will be handling most of the things. When I wake up in the morning, especially now with the 4 children, I will ensure they bathe first, get themselves occupied. I will do some of the cooking because I think my wife, she will have to look after the baby overnight, have to breastfeed her and stuff. So I would rather she get as much rest as possible. Wow, this one is insurance line. Huh? I hope she get much possible so that, she allows me to do all this Zoom and stuff. All. Yeah.
We need to quote you on this
Yeah.
for your wild card.
So on my own also, I have this platform called Big Daddy Cool SG, in which occasionally we have StreamYards, similar platform like this. While we interview fathers, we have people like, Fandi Ahmad coming on board to share with us. We have also other sports personality like Hamka Afiq, to share with us their journey as a father. Some of them have small children, some of them have children who are not that healthy. Some of them have children who are in their teenage phase. So it's how different is it like to handle them at different age. But the bottom line is that we all agree there is no perfect father, and being a father is a responsibility from the cradle to the grave. Because we all believe that even on our deathbed, even on our deathbed, we could be our 60s, we could be in our 70s. We will always ask ourselves, have we been the perfect father to our children? And the day when we close our eyes, the day when we pass on, will our children goes around, tell people that, look, they are very proud to have a father like us. The father have taught us good values and stuff on. So for me, every day is a new thing. I mean, I won't say that, at the end of the day, today, I think I've done well as a father. No. I won't dare to say that because every day I will always reflect on myself. Can I do this? Can I do something better? In fact, when I'm talking to you, my son is so knocking the door, wants to come in and stuff. That kind of thing. Yeah, over to Noretta.
No, I think from what I'm hearing is that it's typical of a father who would like to leave a legacy to their kids, right? Like you said, you would like to be remembered as something that you have done that they can, follow up or at least be proud of. Is that
The
right?
legacy, yes. I won't say like in a man's ego manner that say no, they must live up to my name and stuff. All no, but I want to build beautiful memories with them.
That's
Like
nice.
for me, like till today, I can share with my children. Oh, my father brought me to this place when I was young. My father brought me to this place when I was young. Yes, my father gets angry at me and stuff. All, but I learn. I learn. So whenever, sometimes my wife will tell me, at times I will, when I talk to my children, sometimes I will raise my voice and stuff on. And sometimes my wife will say that, hey, how come you're very hard on the boys? But my girl gets away with everything. I can scold my son here. The next moment, my girl did the same mistake as the brothers. I'll just tell her, please don't do this. It's not. My wife will say, "There's bias, guy. Right? There's bias. It's so biased." Then I will say that, look, I'm a guy. Okay, I set that kind of standard for my sons to behave. You guys are boys, so you all need to be a bit toughen up and stuff. But at times I find it a bit unfair because they are only 8 years old and 6 years old. Come on, when I was 8 years old and 6 years old, I'm pretty sure I'm not as bad as my sons. I'm pretty sure I was quite well behaved, but I think we are living in a different eras. I mean, back then, at 8 years old, 6 years old, I'm just happy watching Scooby-Doo or Darkwing Duck, on TV at 6 p.m. While children today, they have so many forms of entertainment. And I think as parents, you are fighting with whatever entertainment that they have, their tablets, their YouTube, their Netflix and stuff. You're craving for that attention, right now. Like back then, when I was young, I remember I think we were just watching TV and stuff. If our parents say, okay, boys, come, let's go out. Okay, yes, we go out. We're happy. It's easy to get the attention of our parents, But right now, I'm sure there will be a point of time that they will say that, no, I don't want to go out. I just want to stay at home. But back then, we want to follow our parents because there's nothing much to do at home, Apart from, remember, hearing the radio, stand by one cassette, and your favorite song, you press that record button, and that's your sort of entertainment, kind of thing. So things are, I would say things are different. I mean, that is why when I have Big Daddy Cool, like I mentioned, we are not perfect fathers. There are some of their stories that they share with us that can be inspiring to us, that we can pick up and say, hey, I should have done that, So like for me, what I do is that most of the weekends I will try to bring my children outdoor, either cycling, play football. My boys love to play football. And now my girl, she's into her makeup set, the doll set, she likes to draw herself up. So that is very interesting, because I end up buying for her, all this makeup set and stuff all, and I was like, wow, okay, this is interesting,
Something different from you.
Yeah, and every time when I buy this, she will say, thank you for buying this for me, if you have seen my girl, you know how cute she is.
She is like a doll. She is a doll. My goodness, I don't know. You're gonna have trouble when she grows up, man. Just good luck to you.
That's why I'm very scared. So like you see, like for me, right, when I tell my wife, like, why am I not? When my wife asks me, why am I not so hard on my girl, on my girls, on my daughters? So I will tell them that, look, I want them to grow up to know that eventually, when they're in a relationship, if other guys were to break their hearts and stuff all, or to reject them or cheat them, they know that their father is the perfect gentleman. And they know that their father is always there to listen to them. And they know that their father is not someone who will scold them and stuff all. I want to be what I am, how I behave with her now. I want her to remember me that way until when she grows up. And I don't want to lose that part. But with my boys, I want them to know that, look, as a boy, we need to toughen up. We need to be strong. We should not be emotion and stuff all, we should stand up first. So it's totally two different things. But of course, my wife has a soft spot for the boys. I mean, naturally.
Opposite. Well, I think good sharing from you. I'm pretty sure Dihan and Labwai also have their own, opinion to that. Of course, we want to talk about in terms of how do we deal with kids, especially when, like you said, previously you were still kind of a good boy, you will listen, but now the era is that children will question us, or they will have this tendency to do something the opposite. So let's take a look and see whether I can put this question, this point on, let's see, or maybe perhaps Lapwai can help with the question. And see, maybe perhaps coming from your perspective and Dihan's perspective and Lapwai's perspective on how do we deal with this and what do you think of it? Hold on a second.
So I think Lapwai is the only person that can show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
So sometime my kid, just so you know, Farehan, this is actually a real question. I went to a parents workshop and I was I was reading to the questions that parents actually ask. These are legit questions. And mind you, these are all primary school parents, okay? Primary school kids, parents of primary school kids. And last week we were actually talking about throwing tantrums, etc. And I was thinking to myself, are these kids who are in below 6, or they are like, so apparently they are 8, 9-year-olds who are actually throwing tantrum, yeah. And one of the question actually that was posted was, sometimes my kids do opposite behavior whenever I tell something. I observe he do it for fun to make me angry. Now this is the parent's perspective. Now what do you think of that, Farehan? Have you ever were there moments where you already told them not to do it, but they purposely do it to see how to just push your limit and to see how to push their boundary as well? Yeah.
Were there moments? I would say it's all the time. You know,
Hmm.
I would say it's all the time. They always do the opposite behavior. I mean, okay, uh, I was a school teacher before. Okay, I was a
Mm.
school teacher until 2013 for about
Mm.
7 years. I can see that patterns in some of the young children,
Mm.
where they were questions. Like back then, when we were a student, if our teacher would tell us, okay, you all keep quiet, don't do this thing, we all just keep quiet, we all don't even dare to raise any questions. But I see that pattern in children, and they can go as young as primary 1 or primary 2, they would like to question, they say, why must we do this and stuff all.
Mm.
So I thought it was normal, as a school teacher, I was quite patient enough to answer them. Okay.
Yeah.
But these things are also happening in my children. Okay. I mean, like some of my children will question me, why when I say, okay, can you all off the TV and stuff, or they will ask, why must we off the TV? Tomorrow is we don't have any school.
Mm.
That kind of thing. That would be like, okay.
There's a point there.
Yeah, then I was like, okay, I would say, I won't say like, oh yes, go ahead, man. You answer me correctly. Go ahead and watch TV until you fall asleep on your own. So like for me, to be honest, that's a challenge. I'm always asking myself. And sometimes I will ask my wife, hey, were you like that when you were young? Do you question your parents, and stuff? Because I'm definitely not that. But then I realized that it is just that it's just the current situation that we are in. Even I would say my daughter, sometimes when I say no, then she will just like, do this and stop, and walk off, But I'm sure it's just a matter of time that she can answer me back. Like, I say, why must I do that and stuff. So whoever this person is asking, right? I mean, like sometimes when I scold at my son, they suddenly laugh. They suddenly laugh. So I realized that, okay, instead of me trying to get angrier, right? I will also have to laugh with them also.
Okay.
So I laugh with them, then I say, okay, I get into your mood. Then I'll try to talk to them of, no, actually, don't do this thing lah. Why you want to do this thing? You make me angry and stuff, not nice, right? You try to, because children at the end of the day, they can't think maturely. Okay? They are still children. At the top of their mind, correct me if I'm wrong, at the top of their mind is FUN, fun. We just want to have fun. Okay? Even if you tell us to clean up, we will clean up for 5 minutes, but the another 25 or 30 minutes, we just want to have fun. And we will mess up the whole thing again. But that's us. So I think as parents, I don't know, it's a challenge, but we just have to accept it. I don't know. Maybe you guys...
Dihan, how about you? Dihan would have things to say. Dihan, what do you think?
I'm asking you guys for answers.
This is a struggle of a father. I guess this is a struggle of parents. Like you said, being a teacher and being a parent, totally different, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Dihan, what do you think?
I would react as like any person. It's like, I tell you to do A, you deliberately do B. My high blood pressure must come from you lah. I feel you purposely and then so that's my natural reaction.
Right.
And on top of that, I feel like, you're damn disrespectful, lor. Then that's the second layer.
Okay.
Then the third
This
layer
is internally, right? You're saying internally.
Internally, and it's very natural, Hey.
So that doll. No wonder Farehan cannot say no to her.
Yeah.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hello.
Now you know why Farehan cannot say no to her, right? Look at her smile. She gets away with things. But she looks like the mother, by the way. It's very pretty.
Really, yeah. Because I don't see the mom now. I feel like she looks like the dad, no?
Yeah, she looks like that to me though.
She's as fair as the mom.
Wait till you see the mom. Yeah, sorry, you were saying internally you said that that's the kind of feeling you had, like, oh, you're so
Yeah.
disrespectful.
So immediately when this kind of things happen, I react as like any other person. First of all, it's like, oh, you're really pushing my buttons. Second is, oh, you're damn disrespectful, right? Then the third, I would be like, you are something's wrong with you. Your parents must not love you or something like that. So that's the teacher perspective in my head, right? But then of course after that, I realized for me, I kept complaining about the same things. It could be different kids, but I complained about it's still the same thing. So if I were to write it down on a profile, or let's say on a journal, right? It will sound like, a student name, did the opposite behavior when I said this. And
Okay.
then I reacted this way. And I realized that it's a pattern. It's a predictable pattern. I say A, they do B, I react C, and then I do D. It's so repetitive. Then I realize who's the one that can be controlled here? Myself, right?
Yeah, the adults.
So so it took me quite some time. It was only because after a lengthy amount of me complaining about the same damn thing, because I always do think about this, like what is it that makes me so stressed out, and then it finally clicked that, oh my gosh, I've been complaining about the same thing, but just it's same, or to put it crudely, different person, same shit, right? So it was because it was happening so frequently. Then I asked myself, actually, why are they doing it that way? And how come other teachers don't get as triggered as I am? And then I realized it was because I had to first see the kids' intention. So it's to first look at the kids' intention as to why they do it that way. They, even though this parent here is saying she observes that he's doing it for fun, I have very little a belief that a kid actually rubs their hands together and go, hey, 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 I'm going to do the exact opposite because I'm going to piss you off. I doubt that kids naturally do that. They will naturally do that only because of the circumstance. And I'm trying to think back, what are the circumstances that drove me to tell them A and they do B, I react C, and then I do D. Like, that's so repetitive, right? And I realized it's always because they couldn't see the reason and the rationale of my instruction. So for example, I would say, right, there's a time and place for everything. We'll always say this, right? So put away your screen time, put away your gadget, do your homework now. So they go, no. And then they want to go on with their screens, as if deliberately wanting to defy me, right? So again, in my head, it's like, wow, you done this, okay, disrespectful, right? I tell you do A, you do B, right? And then after that, I said, okay, look, then I start with the intention. So what I would usually say is, wow, I already give you screen time already. Now you still want some more. I asked you nicely to do homework. Yeah, you give me attitude. Now, and then you still want to continue playing and come on, give me attitude some more. So that was my normal reaction. Until I realized that I had to see their intention, then I verbalized the intention. I said, I see that you are still on your gadget, your device. This tells me you still want to continue playing, right? So intention. But this is not helpful for your studies. And I'm not saying that you can never play anymore. You can, but later. Hence, there's a time and place for everything, right? And then I'm not saying this to suck the fun out of you. My role as a teacher is to make sure that you finish your homework. You may think that I'm not fun or I'm not reasonable, and you may think that I'm like the worst teacher ever, and that's fine. But if you were me, And your responsibility is to make sure that you do your homework. And in front of you is a kid who's exactly behaving like you right now. What do you think you would be doing instead? So the kid goes, I don't know, or completely phase out, right? So then I go, okay, so I'm not asking, I'm telling you. I see that you are with your screen. This tells me that you want to do your work, you don't want to do your work, and I can understand why, because it's less fun, right? Now, it can either help you with your homework or you can find somebody else to help you with your homework. Either way, they get to do the homework, right? Then I go, I'm not saying that you can't play at all. I'm saying you can, but there's a time and place for everything. And then they go, oh, I don't want anything. So I say, yep, I hear you. I know that this is what you want to do, but either you hand over the screen to me right now or I'll take it from you. Either way, the screen is taken, right? So I'll give always choices. So I verbalize that. And that when I say like, oh, I realize that I'm the person I'm the only person that can control what it means and what it looks like and sounds like. It's like that, exactly whatever I've just said it out. And the key here is because I looked at the intention. Now, the mom here or the dad here who has written that question, maybe at the point where they're going, oh my gosh, I think he's doing this for fun. It might be because that's all he could see. But I don't think any kid would rub their fingers and go, I'm going to disrupt daddy's Zoom time right now. I'm going to, I'm going to kill and make blood red right now. I'm going to make sure that, I'm going to spill the milk. So when a moment I shift to that intention, it made me a lot calmer. And that's where I said that I'm in control. Oh, you guys are bringing kids. I also should have kids here. Like,
it's because they are trying their luck not to sleep when they are very busy. Okay? Yeah. No, I think you have a point there. Like what Farehan was just sharing just now, he tried to express it in such a way whereby, oh, why must you do this? Why must you make me angry? For him, it's more sort of like the feelings of how that reaction or that behavior would affect him. Whereas for you, you were sharing on now the reason why we are doing this is because more to external reasons, like it's going to affect the child rather than affect the parent or affect the adult, right? And you also mentioned about like the root of the problem. We need to find out whatever they are doing is basically like the symptoms of it. Like, why are they doing that? There must be, like you said, it's not because they wake up in the morning and they say, okay, today I'm going to make my dad or my mom angry. No, they don't do that. But there must be a reason why, like you said, and like what Farehan said, it's all about fun, isn't it? Now, Lapa, you have your own two big kids. What have you say? What do you have to say about it?
I think to add what Noretta have to say, that you are right. The kids doesn't wake up in the day to say that I want to make my parents angry.
Yeah.
No, they will wake up to the day. They just want to have fun. And for us, it's more of a question of when we wake up, we ask ourselves, how patient should we be today with our children?
That's a very good point. That's a very good question.
We know that they will not, after baby, we know that they will just throw their towels. Okay? we know they won't hang their towel. We know that they won't clean up the mess. So you ask yourself, how patient will you be today? Like for example, like this girl, just now she asked me to make for her milk. And every night, when I sleep with her, she will wake up at 3 a.m. Her face will be right at my face. I say, please, I want milk. So I'll be like, okay, just go up and do it. It has become a routine kind of thing. So like, yes, children will not intentionally, purposely wants to make us angry. Definitely, they're only 6 years old and 8 years old. They do not have that vengeance in them, want to do that. But I think it's always a question to us, should we get angry as a parent, or should we just like laugh it out with them? After that, we just talk to them and say why you want to do all these kind of things and stuff. Well, hey, the next moment, scold her.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I think it's like it's more for me. It's like my kids are older, so it's through years of training for myself by them, trained by them. So like what you mentioned, kids wake up doesn't know what I mean, they don't purposely come and, trigger your emotion. They just want to have fun. So I always stand in that point, in that shoe, like, okay, they are kids. They don't know how to control their emotion. They don't know what to do, but they only know what they want at that point of time. But for us, we have so many things in our mind. Today, we need to complete this, complete that. So that's why we get agitated very fast, very easily.
Yes.
Why do you not get this done? Because
Yeah.
at the back of your head is like, I have so many things to do.
Yes.
I still have to, settle you, handle you, and things like that. And you're not, following my instruction.
I totally agree with that. I mean, it's like right now, like after that, I want to come back home to do this Zoom and stuff. So I inside the car just now I say, okay, when I go back home, please don't disturb me. Go and do something, go and play your games and stuff. And especially in the morning when you wake up, you need to rush. You have work from home, you got your meetings and stuff at the same time, so they are just about to wake up. So you want them to quickly go and bathe, settle down and stuff so I can start doing my work. So we are not like as though we wake up and just looking just to take care of our children only. We have so many things on hand to do it. And I agree that sometimes it gets challenging when your children are in, let's say they are in about 10 or 12 years old or in their teens, early teens or late teens. That's where then you may like question and say, hey, you purposely know that I'm busy and stuff and you purposely want to do this. You will start questioning differently. Like for now, I will just say like, no, my children don't have any intention to purposely wants to, to hurt me or stuff all. But it might change. It might change, when they go older, definitely.
Like Lapoy has a 12-year-old, yes?
Yeah, I have a 12-year-old.
So how do you? Yeah.
It means I have to start training them in a way like get them understand my situation. So while I also respect their situation as well. So it's like a two-way traffic.
Right.
So while I respect them, they have to respect me in return.
Yeah.
So if you want to play, yes, you can play now. You can play, but now you have to do this first. Later, I'll let you play, that kind of thing. So we have negotiation along the way most of the time to get things done, to make sure that I want this thing, you get it done. If you want this thing, I can help you to get it done. So it's like, trading between each other.
Respect, basically.
Correct. The first thing, the main thing is respect. So with that respect, right, it's easier to manage rather than you keep fighting against them. Yeah, especially when they are young, a lot of time we tend to fight against them because we think that they are young, they don't understand, and we know what is going on and they should follow. So since they are young, I will try to, go with them, and along the way, they understand how the things work, how my routine work, and it's easier to manage from there.
I think, like there's, I forgot who was saying that, they wake up thinking that's what they want, but what they want is symptomatic, and then it's not actually helpful for the whole situation. I forgot who was it who said that. But basically, I mean, if you look at a very simple example, like you see a kid snatching a remote control, what's the first thing that comes into your mind?
Monster. That's what she said.
What was that?
What was that?
Monsters.
Monster.
Okay. So what else? I mean, like, so like
Why
why
do you snatch? Maybe you can. I would like to interview. Why do you snatch? Because why?
No. It's not why you snatch the remote. It's not why you snatch. It's why you snatch the remote.
The remote. Yeah. Why do you? Okay. She doesn't snatch the remote, but okay.
So I can imagine if someone snatched the remote from me, the first reaction is angry.
Yeah.
If you watching the TV, I'll be angry.
Farehan was saying.
Slap them. I mean, you're just watching them. No. Back then, I heard stories.
Noretta?
Yeah, I was shocked and I was like, what was that for?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a very natural thing, right? But if you think back to whatever I was saying about intention, right?
Yeah.
They snatch the remote because they want to change channel. Or they want to change the channel or increase the volume, or they just want to take control of something with the remote. But they went about it the wrong way, the hurtful way, which is the snatching way.
Yeah.
So then we go, okay, I see that you So again, I see that you snatched the remote. This tells me that you wanted to change the channel. But was that helpful or hurtful? And
Farehan,
they go,
do you
yeah,
do
it's
that?
not helpful. Right? And then they go, okay, so let's try this one more time. You wanted to change the channel. So what do you say?
Yeah.
Right. So do it
Right?
again. Role play again. Role play
My
again.
daughter
Do it
will
for
do this. My daughter will do please, please. She will do.
yeah, and that's fine, you know. And we tell then it comes then there's a second part. We tell ourselves like, oh, okay, you know, you're gonna say please now, but then later or later on the day or the next day, it's going to be the same thing. Well, of course, because you've only taught it once, you don't expect them to like have it in their head just once. I mean, when the first time you taught them how to write their names, they don't write it perfectly the first time either. They had to learn how to grip a pen, know what a pen looks like or a pencil, know how to write it, do their twirls and their swirls, and then in the end it becomes like that. Even an 8-year-old, the way they write their name also, you feel like it can be written better than that lah. But and they have 8 years of training or maybe 5 years, depending on whether they picked up their pencil at the 3 years old, you know. But still, it's still like a lot of the second part of where a lot of adult, where they say, yeah, you know, I did the whole, yeah, you know, we role play, yeah, and then after that they still go back to their same behavior. Well, of course, because teaching is a lifetime and it takes time. You expect this myth of I tell you once, then you're gonna get it. We had it. I know I experienced that when I was younger. I was expected to be told once, and then that's it, right? And then I can never make mistakes, and it really screwed me up, you know, when I got older. And it's like, and I'm supposed to get it. I'm older now. I'm better now. You know, why can't I get it? Like, you know how many times I've really done this StreamYard and Zoom thing? It's already the third time, and I'm still not prepared for glitches. Like, oh, come on. You know, and I'll kick myself, and that's not helpful as well. So it manifests into a very different kind of thing along the way. And I realized that even though these little things that we've done is carried from our parents, but if we don't look and examine why we do what we do and how we can do it differently so it can help the trajectory a bit differently, then we'll forever be repeating the same cycle. At least that's for me when I do reflective when I do my reflection on my teaching, and we've always been drilled down in our career, right? Why do you do it that way? Like who planted it in your head to do it that way? And I realized like, oh shit, the very teacher I didn't want to be, I end up being, because that was the only thing I knew how to go about it. Until somebody showed me a different path, and I go, oh, okay, so let's try this path. And I still slip back to my old ways. Seriously, I still do. But instead of dwelling and then like, you know, really being remorseful about it, I'm like, okay lah, the next day I get to try again and again and again and again. And eventually I'm like, oh, I can do it. But it still takes time. So that's kind of like how I would approach it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of I think there's a lot of reasoning that we need to, and it's also like you said, build the habit of doing that. If we can build the habit, and then it will actually we will reap the rewards eventually with our kids. And like you said, it's not going to happen only once or twice. It has to happen consistently and constantly. We have to remind ourselves.
I've always been so surprised as like when parents. There's this one parent, and bless her, she was the one who said, I am 42 years old now. I can't even control my temper. How can I expect my 5-year-old to do that?
Agree.
And then when she said it that way, I'm like, wow. You know, so it really is the adult that's supposed to make the change, you know?
Yeah.
Because growing up, I also felt like, wow, not so much pressure on the kid to make the changes. As if like the moment you grow up, right, you don't do any change really.
Yeah.
But now it's a different era, you know, like what Farehan was saying.
Yeah, I always remind. I remember, you know, being in the school, and I always remind teachers or even myself, like, we are allowed to be angry, but why can't the kids? And that's always the question that we always ask. And then how do we actually help the children to manage their own anger? I think that is more important than asking them to stop being angry. You're not allowed to be angry. But instead, how do we handle that anger? Do we need to guide them with that?
Yeah, but it's a good question. But let's say that right now I ask Farehan, right? Like, do you have, assuming that you have no idea how to handle your anger, but you tell your kid, kid, you have to handle your anger, but you yourself as an adult that don't know how to handle anger, and now you're hearing three aunties and teachers here telling you, yeah, you have to manage your anger. Do you? It's a good question, but do you know how to?
I think my wife, she will always remind us. She will always remind me to be that mirror model when I talk to my children. It's like I'm in my difficult situation, I'm tense back at work. My wife, she always remind me, is how you talk to your children that will make them act out the same way when they are faced in similar position as me.
So
It is like,
eventually, when they are in a situation, you hear them talk and say, "Hey, it sounds like me," right?
Yeah.
That
It's
would be
true.
like, at times will be I'm in the kitchen, I hear one of my first son talking to my second son. You don't do this thing. That will be like, hey, that sounds exactly like me nagging, you know that kind of thing. So it's always a reflection. I mean, it's a challenge to be honest because come on, let's be honest here. I mean, most of the time we don't like spare 1 or 2 seconds before we tell our children, hey, we cannot be heard. Most of the time we just like, why you all must do these kind of things, But if we have spare like few seconds thought, then we like calm ourselves a bit down because I think that's a very crucial period of time. Like you're in the living room, you hear a glass drop in the kitchen. The first thing will be like you're running mad and you will like scold, why do you drop that glass? But if you decide to just pause for a few seconds, the ideal manner will be you go to the kitchen. The first thing is that you ask, are you okay? Do you hurt yourself and stuff on?
Yeah.
I think that's very important. Then at least the children will calm themselves down and realize that okay, he or she makes a mistake. You say, okay, I'm fine, but just apologize. But most of the Asian parents who are running, it could just be a $1 mark. Look at the children and say, you are paying for me.
Yeah.
Then it creates a cycle. It creates a cycle. See,
Yeah, I agree. Whenever my children talk, it's like, oh, sounds like me. Oh, sounds like me. I better watch out the next time I talk.
I was so horrified one time when, and that was all it took. When I looked and I saw my kids, my students, right, behaving exactly how I would, and I go, like, this is too much power. This is way too much power. I need to step back and really think about what I say and what I do. And that was the turning point that made me go like, oh my gosh, I have so much power. It's almost illegal, So yeah, but actually going back to whatever I was asking Farehan, right? Like if or any of you actually, if you don't know yourself how to manage anger, but you tell your kid to manage anger and you hear other people telling you that you have to manage anger, will you actually even know how to go about managing anger? If you I think the very straightforward answer is no, you wouldn't know how to because you've never done it, you've only heard it, you've only told it, but you've never been modeled and showed how to do it. So a lot of parents are like, oh yeah, I understand on intellectual level, I know what to do and how I should go about it. But like what Farehan says, right, the moment you hear glass shattering in the kitchen, you're instantly go, what's going on? Who died? Like, oh my gosh, like, it's that fight or flight mode. And that's fine, that's perfectly fine. The thing is to always strive for that ideal thing that Farehan was talking about, to take a breath, to take a breather and go, okay, today I'm a bit of a tip-top shape, I will be able to breathe. Wow, so good, best dad in the world. The next day, I am in shambles. I went back to my old pattern, and that's completely fine. It's a human part of any of us, right? So I think a lot of parents also kind of feel like they have to do a lot of things and they should do a lot of things. And I said, yeah, you could. It's always a choice. But it's whether you choose to feel guilty about it or choose to actually strive for it. In this case, if you're enlightened to know that, your kids don't rub their hands together and go, yeah, I'm going to make things miserable for you today, then you kind of feel a bit better. But of course you're asking this out of like because you're already here lah. So that's kind of like my take on it. Yeah.
Like for me, just to add on, I mean, like for me, you know, sometimes you have there will never a day will never pass in which you never scold your children. Okay, but because most of the time I will put my children to sleep and stuff all. So I will always make it a point to like hug them. You know, sometimes when they're about to sleep, they're like a very calm stage. You know, I'll just hug them, I'll just give them a kiss and just say, please don't make me angry. You know, I don't like to scold you. You know, you just got to behave and stuff all. And they will give you the thumbs up. They will hug you and say, yes, they will not do it again. And you know, the next day they will definitely do it again. You know, but it's always good to like remind them. You know, when you're in a calm manner, remind them of that their actions, what they do, could have been better. You should not tell them that, hey, you know, you cannot scold me and stuff. Or you maybe you can rephrase it in a way that say that, you know, you could have talked to me softly, you could have talked to me nicely, you know, you could have asked for it nicely, more politely and stuff. That's how I feel children is now today. Like, I mean, like how I observe my children, for example. Yeah, that's my take on it. Lah. But every day you vomit blood, lah, that's for sure.
I do agree. Every day you won't
That will
go
be
one day
fun.
without scolding.
There
Yeah, but
will
before
be.
bedtime, I will always tell them. I don't really tell them that okay, tomorrow don't make me angry, but I'll tell them that the reason why I get angry today,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You got me angry because so what you did and how I feel. I tell them how I feel. So, and then I'll say, no matter what, I still love you. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that gives them the assurance.
yeah. I think there's a habit of like apologizing. I wouldn't say apologizing, but just to share our feelings. And yeah, basically, if let's say we as parents did say something that's hurtful to the kids, I mean, there will be moments where I got angry with my 9-year-old. And actually, yesterday, I felt so bad. It was one of those days whereby, oh gosh, I felt so bad after, being mad at her. And then after, before we went to sleep, I was the one who actually said, I apologize for hurting your feelings today, but I was really, really mad about what happened. And you know what she said? It's okay, Mama, I love you still. So it became the other way around. And I felt bad. I was like, oh boy, now you're making me feel even worse.
Yeah, in a classroom perspective, I would nag and I would shout and scream. You know, those typical, very human moments, right? And then after when I calm down and I go like, oh shit, I really shouldn't have done that. Then I say, was it understandable that I got angry because of what happened? And then they go, yeah. But does it make it right? They go, no. Is it okay to be angry though? Then they go, yes. But the way I was angry, was that right? They go, no. So understandable, but not right, right? Even though getting angry is normal. Then they go, yeah.
Understandable, but not right. Yeah.
But not right. The way
The
of
way it's being
being
done,
angry.
but we understand why we are angry.
Yeah.
But the
So
way it's
you
done.
understand why I got angry? Yeah. Does it you understand understandable? Yes. Does it make it right?
Mm,
No.
mm,
But is it normal and okay to be angry? Yes. But how I showed my anger, was that right? No. So
yeah.
they definitely knew, right? Then after that,
Yeah.
so again, I'm angry at what you do, not at you.
Yeah.
So that's it, right? So I'm sorry for that.
Mm,
And then I go, okay, let's go. Turn to page 37.
right.
Then eventually, the kids go, yeah, we could have behaved differently as well. I said, oh, pray tell me how differently. Then they're
I
like,
think it's
yeah,
about creating awareness, basically.
yeah.
Really about creating awareness.
And it's also because I've done this enough for them to be able to go, yeah, we could have done it differently,
Yeah.
right? So it like right before we went on live, Noretta was saying, I don't know what you girls are gonna do. As long as by the time I finish this thing, when I go in there, you both should be asleep.
Yeah.
But evidently, the kid came in halfway through Zoom,
Yeah.
and there's one very traditional way to go about it. Guys, I asked you to go to sleep, but you came in. Or the other way is intention, which is, yeah, you couldn't sleep. I was probably too loud, and you wanted to see what I was up to,
Yeah.
and that's fine, right? So it's time to sleep now. Rather than Rather than this way, when we go, guys, I ask you to sleep, right? And you still you dare to come and find me, then we don't want to be this,
It's
right?
true. So you see, the thing is that my 9-year-old is already asleep because she's aware. She's aware that she has to sleep. However, the 4-year-old, she's not at the right state of her development to understand that Mama asked me to sleep and I have to sleep because she's on Zoom. To her, it doesn't matter whether you're a teacher, you're on Zoom live, or you're in front of the president. I want your attention means I want your attention. But whereas for the 9-year-old, she understood, so she's not in the room here. That means she is doing the right thing. So
But you
I
can also still use the same reasoning for intention to your
correct.
4-year-old, right? You say to your 4-year-old, saying like, yeah, I know I said you were supposed to sleep, and I think based on because you're still awake, you couldn't sleep. Sometimes it happens. Right now, I'm done with my work. Shall I put you to sleep, or are you gonna be okay by yourself, right? Instead of I already told you to sleep now, but you don't go to sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. It's just the way we deliver it. It will make a lot of difference.
Right. So this is really good. There's no questions from the audience. It's either that or we don't have enough people, or they're just also as sucked in as I am. Do have one question for Farehan. For the dad, for our token dad here. For me, as far as my limited experience goes, dads usually get a bad reputation for leaving almost everything to the moms, and then they're very hands off. You sound like you're a little bit more hands on. You do think about stuff, and then you do talk things through with your wife, which is great. And you have a community of parents who actually do have conversations openly and say like there's nothing called like the perfect dad or whatever. But because of this contrast of whatever I've experienced myself, again limited as they may be, why do you think that fathers on the other side of spectrum behave that way? And what can they do in order to maybe move along and move forward if they choose to?
Okay. First of all, I would say I'm 100% hands-on father, because my wife will be the one that is always concerned about my children grades and stuff, or to all the parent teacher conference and stuff. Or I will just like, okay, I won't be the one that will be mad at my children when they come back and say, hey, how come you score 70 plus for your mathematics and stuff? Or my wife will be like, say, see my son result, he could have done so much. That's why I told him, that's why I told you to spend more time with him, revising on his Malay and stuff. And I will look into it and say, 70 plus, 80 plus, okay. I mean, what's the big deal? It's not as though he's failing and stuff. I still have that traits of a father, that kind of thing. Because, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a shared workload. It's naturally for the wife, for the mothers, to be very much into the results of the children and stuff. While the father will be just okay. If there's any discipline issues, then I need to step in when I meet the teacher. Say, okay, let me know. I handle the macro issues, while the parents, the mummies, will handle more on the micro issues and stuff. Okay, yeah. So that's how I will feel. Apologies if I sound very ignorant and stuff all on this, but I think I share the workload with my wife, and naturally she will take these micro issues. Yeah. But I still do the household. I still do the cooking and bathing the kids all this.
Lapwai is one of those who hardly really dwells on the academics. And so I don't know, is it micro, macro, inverted ones in your household, or what's going on? Yeah.
Because I would say that naturally for the academics, because why? Sorry. Because naturally for the academics, like my wife, she's still a school teacher. So one moment, just pass my wife.
Okay, for me, it's more of I don't dwell into the academics, and mainly teaching everything is done by me. So my husband is more of like just do his work. Yeah. In terms of like grades and micro or macro manage is all done by me, and I don't want to focus on too much on the results or grades, we call it, because I'm more of looking on how my children is going to grow with the kind of attitude towards their life and the kind of character they should build rather than just chasing the grades. Yeah. Yeah, Farehan, you can continue from there.
Okay. I think because naturally, I think my wife, she's a school teacher, academic, so I think she understands that challenges. It's naturally for her to be attached to that. Like for example, I mean, if my children, because I come from a sports since before, so if let's say my children wants to play football, go into sports, so naturally I'll be like, okay, I will help you to develop in that aspect. Whereas for academy, I think my wife would be the natural choice. I mean, I would be the one to say, hey, how come your maths is failing, or how come this question is more challenging and stuff on? I won't know, but my wife will know better. Like my wife say, look, if he don't get this good grades now, he will face more challenge when he eventually go to primary 3 or primary 4. So like for me, I was just like, okay, I will just take the advice and just ask my wife, okay, let me know what I need to do. Then maybe to give them more coaching and stuff all. But personally for me, it will be more for the character development as a father. It's more for the character development. Just to make sure they grow up to be somebody who speaks well, somebody who's more polite, somebody who's compassionate. I mean, that is the angle that I think the fathers will naturally develop on their children. Whereas the mummy will, develop them to be more intellectual, more intelligent and stuff. While daddies will be more of challenging their emotional, EQ part. While mummy will be more on the IQ part. Yeah. So that's why we daddy we always have fun and stuff on. So when mummy tend to get a bit upset and stuff on, results are not doing well and stuff on. Yeah.
I guess like for you, because in your household, there's a very natural path because your wife is from this background, you're from this background.
Yeah.
But where I'm coming from is where, let's say, parents they don't have those kind of background at all. Like, it's just a very general, typical family, right? But somehow, it's always the father who's a little bit more hands off, a little bit more hands off than anything. And the father will be reacting like 70, 80, okay, and it's a father who will be like, a bit more macro. And for me, in my experience, the fathers don't have a lot of open conversations about these sort of things with their guy friends. Whereas in your position, because you're supporting fathers as a community and you have open talks about that, right? There's this spectrum. You have like parents who are doing this, and then parents who are like, it's okay lah, character is more important, but then you hardly see them. So I'm just so my question is, and I'm wondering out loud, what is it that these group of parents or fathers who, if they choose to be a bit more hands-on, because I'm sure that they've heard the fair share of from their wife that they should be a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more. Like if they choose to be, where can they go? How could they get started? Like, and what can they do? Because that's my experience with fathers who are a little bit like, it's okay, it's fine. My dad is like that, and I'm like, great, like, mom, could you just be like that too? So so that's kind of where I'm coming from.
I think I understand. I mean, there are also some of my friends who like who I know. I won't say my friends, like who I know of. There's some fathers who will leave everything to their wife to settle and stuff on. Some fathers, they could be influenced by different cultures, different societies. They will say that, look, my job, morning I go up to work, I come back, I put food on the table for the family. Occasionally, I just talk to my kids. You settle everything. I don't want to hear anything. I'll give you enough money and stuff. Or you need tuition, I give you the money and stuff. Or just send there for tuition. There are some fathers who are exactly like that, But I mean, I think I would like to remind all fathers and stuff all, when you're raising a children, or anything in a marriage and stuff, or it's all about shared responsibility. I mean, you should not draw a line to say that you do the dishes, I settle the kids. You know, I bring the kids out, you teach the kids and stuff. At times, you just need to come in to help them out. I mean, no matter how busy we are, always try to spend at least an hour or two with our children. I mean, I understand sometimes we go back home late and stuff, or if things happen in work, especially if we have a bad day at work, we bring that negative energy back home. Okay, we bring that negative energy back home. And my wife will always tell me that, I'm guilty at times. I come back home, and the first thing that when I open the door, the first thing I see my children dropping some TVs on the floor. Well, that will really, trigger me to scold that person and stuff. So I think my wife, she's always telling me, try to leave your negative energy outside the house. I think recently I saw one video on Facebook. This teacher, I think, is in Japan or somewhere in Japan or China. So this teacher had a long, tiring day. So he was caught on the CCTV. He was walking along the corridor. Just before he entered the classroom, he smiled. He tried to make himself happy and stuff on, and he went in.
Yeah.
I think that is something that I think fathers or parents should do before they go back home. They try to make them happy.
Right.
Because your children, somebody shared with me, I think Sheikh Haikal, shared with me that to our children, right, we are their superheroes. Okay? They don't, yes, they can watch Superman and stuff on. But whenever they see us, they will always be happy. They will always, welcome us with hugs at the doors. There will never be a time where you open the door, they will say, my daddy is back home, and stuff on. No, they won't do that.
Yeah.
They will always feel happy. They always feel excited and stuff on. Yeah, so that's how my children are working. Yeah. One moment, I guess.
Sounds like at some point you can hear the kind of cry.
Yeah.
What kind of cry is that? It sounds like a cry that somebody got hurt kind of cry.
I think what he mentioned just now, it applies to everybody with regards to nobody deserves your frustrations. That means whatever frustrations you have, the other party doesn't deserve it. I think that I totally agree. Yeah.
But you see, in you're like, you hear from people saying you should, you must leave your negative energy at work before coming home. Well, again, and again, I've been repeating myself. On an intellectual level, you understand that this is what you need to do. But do you know how to do it?
Yeah.
And if you've never maybe stumbled upon that video in China with that teacher, trying to hype himself up, then you may never have a model to know what you can do.
Yeah.
So yes, I think most parents they know what to do, what they should do, what they must do. But I think a lot of parents are struggling with the how.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how many of you out there are still watching. If you agree, maybe just silently nod, or if you want to be known to go like, this is my problem. I know what and why, but I don't know how, because you've never seen it before. Seen how people explicitly leave their negative energy behind. Explicitly see how to manage in times of stress. Explicitly see how to handle anger. But if you don't see it growing up or around you, or through media or anything, then you will never really know how to go about it. Which is where my principle is. Therefore, it is up to us to learn and build ourselves first. And then when we know how to do it, then we can guide the kids. But a lot of parents fall into the trap that, I need to do it first, then only I can do it. But it's actually, you can do bit by bit, and you're already one step ahead from your kid already. So you can do it in parallel with your kid.
Yeah.
So a lot of parents think like, I have to read all sorts of books and do all sorts of things, and then only I can become a parent. Or some parents they say, I already have a 4 or 5 year old kid. I'm a parent for 4 or 5 years already. I should know what to do. But then I'm 30 plus. My parents is also still, and it's my parents' first time handling 30 plus year old. as a kid, I mean, as a parent and a 30-year-old kid, it will never be ending. So if parents out there are like thinking, you know, I really need to do this first and then that, I was like, oh, it will never happen, no. So that's kind of where I'm coming from in terms of we should start from ourselves. And if you slip back to your own behavior, it's fine. But strive to do that.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. And also, like, I agree that we have to do in parallel with the kids. And then also at the same time, if putting ego and all those things aside, we can also let our kid know that, okay, we are also learning. So let's learn together. If you spot my mistake, let me know. I spot your mistake, I let you know. So it's like, you know, partners working together and trying to be a better parent and a better child. Right. At the same time, we also have to be, we also need to raise our awareness to be aware of our feelings, our intentions, and all those things. So it's not easy, but it definitely can be done. But sometimes you just need someone to tell you, someone to explain, or someone to, you know, to share with you. Then yeah, feel free to let us know as well.
Yeah. So I think we've covered like quite a lot today, and it's been a little bit past 1 hour, and I want to try something to end our session a little bit calmer rather than be like it's okay, bye bye. So we can count down from 5, and then we can end, and then so at least they know. So, but before I do that, it's just to remind you guys. We're here Wednesdays at 9 o'clock, unless there's technical glitches, but we will still be here. You may see all 4 of us again, or maybe more people. And we want to thank, you know, Farehan, who's here in spirit.
Kids right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Attending the
Farehan in
kids.
spirit. And for Noretta for inviting him, because, you know, we actually kind of expanded from like, I know this person and that person. So thanks Lapwa and Noretta for joining us.
No problem.
And if we've got nothing else, we're going to close and say our goodbyes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good night, guys. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.